I want to bring in John Nichols, national affairs correspondent for The Nation. He has written about Donald Trump's tariffs and his goal of bringing jobs back to the U.S. It's good to have you here. So one of the things with these tariffs is that President Trump has argued it's worth it because it's going to lead to a manufacturing boom. Factories that are sitting empty will fill up. Help people understand what's actually involved in that. And I want to start by just talking about the infrastructure, getting a plant up and running. It doesn't happen like that, does it?
It sure doesn't. Look, I grew up not far from Kenosha, Wisconsin, where they had a huge Chrysler plant that had previously made AMC vehicles. It was the core of manufacturing. That plant's gone. They tore it down. It's now a green space, and they're doing development on it. Similarly, in a lot of places around this country. So the truth of the matter is that if we go back 30 years to when NAFTA and other trade agreements were being passed, unions said, and I think correctly, that if you do these agreements in the way you're doing them, you're going to cause a lot of factories to close. You're going to cause a lot of workers to lose their jobs. Unfortunately, we went ahead with those deals. The factories did close. The workers did lose their jobs. Many communities were devastated. Now, if you talk about renewing manufacturing in this country, you're talking about something very different. It isn't just turning the key on a factory. It's actually coming into a new era of manufacturing, one where we actually import a lot of the parts of what we might manufacture in the United States. So it's not kind of in one place anymore. And secondly, we're coming at it in an era of robotification and automation, which means that even if you bring manufacturing back to the United States, you don't guarantee that you bring anywhere near the number of jobs back. The way to do a smart plan for manufacturing is to perhaps use some tariffs in some places, perhaps more certainly do new trade policies, but at the heart of it, to have investment in new sorts of manufacturing. And that's not really a part of the Trump plan.
Yeah, let me ask you about the jobs part of it, because Donald Trump does suggest this would be a huge jobs creator. But in February, for example, government data showed there were already 482,000 unfilled manufacturing jobs in this country. And a survey of manufacturers already found 65% say their biggest challenge is finding and attracting talent. So for whatever jobs might be created, where do the workers come from?
Well, that is a big challenge, because remember, manufacturing is different than what it was 20 or 30 or 40 years ago. The people who work in manufacturing plants today are incredibly sophisticated. They know a lot about how to do a lot of things. And in fact, they deserve great pay for it. Often they get great pay for it. Finding those workers in communities across this country involves a massive amount of investment. You have to train people. You have to give people the technical skills and, frankly, the career ladder that takes them into what should be a great job. And the fact is, we can fill manufacturing positions in the United States. We should fill them, but we are only going to do it if we wrap our head around the fact that this is the 21st century, not the 20th century. And I fear that Donald Trump is fighting a trade war of the 20th century, not the 21st.
Yeah, I'm curious about that, because for many older generations, those folks worked factory jobs so their kids and grandkids wouldn't have to. That absolutely was my dad, worked in a factory his whole adult life, and all he pressed on us was, you got to get an education. You shouldn't have to do this, work in a chemical factory. Do most experts you talk with believe what you just said, that Donald Trump is making economic policy based on a kind of outdated mindset?
Absolutely, 100%. That is what I hear again and again and again. It isn't that people say tariffs are always bad. There are often cases where
factory jobs can be great.
Right. And tariffs can be great, right? They can actually do good in some cases, but they have to be surgical. Factory jobs can be great, and in fact, can raise new generations into the middle class and do all sorts of good things. Manufacturing employment is a great part of the American promise, but you have to do it in the century that you live, not in the past. And so when you're thinking about how to create a manufacturing sector that can compete with the whole world, what you have to do is invest a great deal in training, frankly, a great deal in technology. The fact of the matter is that if you go into a manufacturing plant today, some of the key players are going to be engineers, right? people who really know how to fix and address all sorts of problems that weren't even imagined 20 or 30 years ago.
You know, you were making me think that 3 of my siblings actually did end up working in factories. And I'm wondering if the jobs that they did, because they're long retired, even exist anymore, right? I don't know. I'll find out on the family Zoom this weekend.
You will. And the answer is some of those jobs do exist and some of them will exist. But factories are changing. We could devote a whole show to, what automation is doing to factories. And I can tell you, American workers do a great job of learning and catching up and getting ahead of the curve. But there have to be resources invested in making that happen, not simply in a trade war that has a fantasy that somehow, you'll make China blink and you can turn a key on a factory that was closed 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not that easy.
John Nichols got us all thinking about a lot of stuff.